let's see. We've got a few minutes until I've advertised this is going on. So let's just. Okay, so something's playing in the background. Which one is playing? Is it that one? Yes, it's that one. Right. So what we're doing today is I shaped that, did the basic shaping of that yesterday. So that's going to be filed now to a point. I'm going to need to wear the face mask on this one because it's going to get very dusty. I shall try and keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the chat. If you do fancy asking questions, go ahead. And I will get to it when I get a chance. Right, so hopefully you can still hear me. If not, please let me know. The sound will be a bit muffled because of the face mask, obviously. Would help if the first mask wasn't mucky inside. Lovely. Don't know what that was. Oh well, it's probably my lungs now. Right. Same ones I used yesterday. Got the Basta file, which is rough, smoother on one side than it is the other, and the fine sandpaper. Right, so we've got it shaped, just quickly sanding off the rough tool marks, so prepping it for the actual sanding of it. So this is just getting rid of any deep marks. Left by the files. And then this sandpaper just gets rid of the marks from the last sandpaper. So I'll start it up again. So I've just got to shave off a little bit more because I noticed that there's a bit of a bubble in it. Almost gone. So that bubble's now gone. Change the end of the pen slightly. Just put it at a steeper point. Just fine. Still got the overall look that I wanted from this one. Still getting used to the cameras, or camera, let's say. That's too bright. So that is then going to go onto that as the cap. We're obviously not going to be that long. So these ones are going to look something like that. Take this off now. Go from there. We've got the little bit in the end. It's fine. Right, so bring it back to the beginning, or the end of the pen. Zero the measuring bit. Put this on 0. So again, all we're doing is we're just going to make the steps like I did with that one at the beginning, so that can then be filed down to the point. With this one, I'm expecting there to be some chipping out of the glitter. Wouldn't be surprised at all. So I've got specific measurements written down for the the measurement of what I go to with each sort of step, so that with the contours, once it sort of guides it in a specific slope. So I'm going to have to concentrate on these bits a little bit more than I would normally. And try and hit those marks. So the reason this is coming off in powder rather than spirals like it has done before is because the glitter and the shallowness of the cut. So if you've got any questions as I'm doing this, as I said, feel free to ask. or just comment. I'm probably going to go to about 4:30ish today. So we should get all of these shapes, possibly some caps done. Looks like a bit of glitter's come out there. Five. And I've lost count. Right, so again, that is made into the steps. Mask back on. There's going to be lots of dust. hopefully this, once this is done, it will look something like the other one. Okay, so there's a big old scratch just there. I might have to get the other one out with the sandpaper out for this one. It's just scratches, they're easy to get rid of. If it's bubbles, they're a pain in the backside. Flecks of glitter coming out, that's also a pain. Getting a bit of blistering down this end, it looks like. I'm just trying to get rid of that because when I go to the finer sandpaper, that just won't go to a nice shine. It'll sort of have this horrible texture to it. Wish I knew what caused it, to be honest. Bear with me 1 second. That should be alright. Let's see if we get the other one next to each other. They're pretty similar, which is what we want. This one's going to be a little bit shorter because we've got a deeper hole in the end. That shouldn't be a problem. I hate wearing masks. So the 0 that way we can keep. Just there. Just to dial that in. 0 that. So again, as we did with the last one, just going to put some steps in and then carve it into that. Until we've got 4 that look pretty similar. And then we've got another one to do which is similar, but the cuts on this part will be different because it's a different design. It doesn't go to a point, it goes to a curved end. And then we've got another one which we did yesterday, which was all done by file, which was that one. As I said before, any questions you got, feel free to ask. My waiting list is a few months at the moment, I think. Not that long. I've been trying to work through it before the pen show in October. I'll be doing some more custom pens on here. Well, I'm going to try and work through everything. Just contact people on the list and see if they're ready for me to start work. I'll probably do that this evening. So these 2 are custom pens. These 4 are stock. It's no problem at all. So the name Vanagand is another name for the wolf Fenris in Norse myth, and that's supposed to. These models are this pen model is based upon a fang. This is why it's called Vanagand. If you didn't know. So if you are after a custom pen, you can see all the materials I've got. Can you see them? Probably not actually, they're probably a bit too far this way. If I turn the camera, that's my material storage just over there. Yeah, of course. Um, I do all the time. I've got a box behind me which has got reserved materials that I've bought in. If I have to buy them in from America, there'll be a little bit of a wait because I'd have to build up an order to make the postage worthwhile. But then it sort of prompts me to get some new materials in, basically. So if there's stuff that I'm missing, I can top up. I also make my own materials as well. So if there's a specific colour people are after, I can make them bespoke. So you can have a completely custom down to the material. Thank you. Bear with me. I'm losing count every 5 minutes here. 5. Five. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to. I figured people have shown interest in watching videos of this stuff before, so I've got the camera, I've got the laptop, so I figured why not. It's not like any of the methods that I use are groundbreaking and secret, so the only ones that I won't stream live are these ones, because you can't do those on a lathe and they take forever, so it'd be really boring. So this one, I've carved all the bits for it. So each one of these green marks will be sanded off, and then as I sand them through again, I'll mark them again, blah blah blah. But yeah, that's probably going to take another 9 or 10 hours to finish, because I've got to sand all these about, what is it, 4 more times. Then I've got to sand and polish the inside. Then I've got to go over it and make sure that there are no scratches anywhere, and if they are, I've got to take them back and sand it another 4 times. So it's going to be a lot of going over it again, making sure that it's all perfect and there are no scratches anywhere, because it's going to be clear. I've got to make sure there are no scratches on the inside. So yeah, that's going to be a good one. I'm going to try and get it done for the October pen show. I should be able to, and I've got another one that I'm halfway through making. So they start off like that, and as you can see, I've started carving that end. So I've got basically this pointed end here, I've got the same sort of flat bits as an arrowhead would. So it's comes in like that, and then you've got 2 sort of slants here and here, there and there, and I'm going to sort of, on the 4 sides, I'm going to sort of carve it in so that it resembles an arrowhead on that end. Well, that's the idea anyway. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But this one is another one that will have to be polished on the inside and out, because most of the material is clear. Right, face mask on again. I hope so too. Otherwise, that's a lot of work down the drain. Right, so I don't know whether you can see on the camera. When you're looking at it, you'll see there's some white lines here and here, here, and there's a load down here. So they are deep scratches that go radial around the pen caused by the files. So that's a good indication of how smooth surface you're going to get once you've finished sanding. You expect to find a lot more down the end here. So that should be all right for now. Yeah, so those deep ones there have gone. So now it's a cross sand where you are actively going across the scratches like that to try and smooth them out a bit more. And this is where the point of the pen normally stabs me in the palm of the hand. Which kind of hurts, really. This is a one by Turnt, which is a request that I asked him to make. I've only got one more of this, and it's not one that he sells regular, so it's pretty unique. It doesn't have a name really. It's hang on, I'll go get the other one. It's got in there. Hold on. Let's see. So he did a black and he did a white one. It was for a project I'm doing where I'm getting a load of blank makers to all make the same colour mix. And I'm doing videos on comparing them, so that people that want to get a custom pen, if they're looking for a certain look, they know which blank manufacturer best to go for to get the look that they're after. So I'll go get some of the white ones and I'll show you in a second. There you go, there's 3. So this is just going to show that the method of contouring makes them all pretty similar. So I think this is the one. This is the pen that was made from the Turnt one. Is that focusing properly? That's better. So I've got the blank by Bob Duprass, which is basically what I said to them was I would like a blank that is a 3 colour mix of opaque green, translucent green, and white. And then anything else about those colours, like whether they're sparkly or whether they're whether they've got different bits inside them or what shade they are, was completely up to them. So this is Jonathan Brooks's one. Try and get that out with the glare of the light, but still show it. And that's Kristen from Fountain Telling, who is Jonathan Brooks's, what's the word I should use? Not assistant, but protege. That's the word I should probably use. And like I said, there's the Turnt one. So you can see how different they all are. We best put that on that side because they're very similar. But yeah, there's, considering they're all from different people, they haven't had contact about them. But yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I'm hoping to get some done by Diamond Cast and some other blank makers as well. and I've done my own ones as well, which so I had a lot of time to play around with this, so they're my ones. Hello. Sorry, I just need a drink. Thank you for joining. Sorry, is it? Right, so it's 3:10. So yeah, be going to about 4:30, 5ish. So this is the blank where these colours should change the hotter they get. So I know the orange should go yellow and that should go light blue, but I don't think there's enough pigment in there to have it turn colour easily, which is why I'm hoping that if we thin this bit out, the colour will change a bit easier. This is one that I've made. So this is a colour shift, thermal reactive colour shift pigment. Right, let's see if it's okay. Have I got them quickly to add? See if I can get the powder to change colour. The material is Alumilite. That's the material. No, that's not going to change colour. It's polyurethane. That's fine, everyone's new. I'm new to this stream. I've not been doing it very long. So when this finally starts cutting, one, zero. How long have I been pen making? I have been pen making since about a year before COVID. So 4 years, I think. Honestly, I've got no idea now. So you see it's orange there. It's turning more yellow that side. Yeah, something like that. No, it's a bit longer than that. I think it's 5 years. So I think my second pen show was uh, the March that everything blew up and um, all of the lockdown started to happen. It was also when I got COVID. So I remember having to take a few weeks off. Then I went back to work for one day, and then work was shut down for months. No, I use. If you bear with me 1 second, once I've done this, I'll show you the different materials that I use. This is 15. So you can see now that that's gone quite yellow. Most of the custom blank makers will use polyurethane for making their blanks, mainly because it's quite easy to use and quite quick to cure. It only takes about 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours to cure. Whereas epoxy will take anywhere from 12 hours to a week. Some of them. I do have some epoxy blanks. It's because I'm not using any lubrication for the cutting. There's quite a lot of heat build-up when you're taking off these skins. So now I'm taking a bit deeper skin or deeper cut. This side might start turning, well, changing colour. Yeah, I do have a wood lathe, but I've never turned any wood. Just trying to think of the different materials that I use now. This is starting to turn blue here. When I start filing it, you'll see it change colour properly. As you can see there, where it's turned blue there, where it was that purple colour, and this yellow here was that orange. Right. Okay, so we've got that sort of a vintage acrylic type. I'm not sure what type of acrylic it is. That's one of my favourite materials. We've got ebonite, which is a vulcanized or hardened rubber. We've got Juma, which is a I'm not actually sure what Juma is. I know it's a brand name, but it's a mixed resin, hence all the swirls and whatnot. So there's that one. You've got standard acrylic, and then you've got cellulose acetate, which is probably, well, it's definitely the most flammable of the lot, the most heat reactive one, as in it well, it doesn't warp, but when you're turning it, you have to be very careful with heat buildup on that one. Vince from Turner's Workshop, he posted a video on Instagram of what happens when an open flame gets onto a pile of swarf that had come off of the cellulose acetate that he had used, or that he had turned down. And basically it went up like anyone's business. It was like a fire lighter. It does, it's very pretty, and it comes up to a really nice shine. But you've just got to be very careful when using it. So much so that I separate the wastage that I get from cellulose acetate stuff. I've still got to work out a way to dispose of it properly. So yeah, all of this, if an open flame gets onto that, that'll just go up. Right. Apologies for the mask, but again, lots of dust on this bit. Right, so I just got to sand that a little bit, and then we can go on to making the custom order one. Once that's done, we'll get the caps done, and then I shall go over to my pots and we shall find another model to try next. There's been a couple that I've been avoiding making because they sometimes don't go to plan. But I might do a couple that are a bit more interesting to make than these ones. Right, so there you go. So that will cool down into an orange and that will darken a bit. So that's all four. They kind of look like bullets. So this one is going to be made into an Aphrodite, which is similar to that, but it curves down into a more shallow, rounded off bit. Wait until you see this bit on the colour change. This bit will go bright pink. So when I get a customer order, I get something like that, which tells me all the details of the pen. Because I've blanked out any details of the person that ordered it. Right. So that's this one. I'm just trying to get my head into the space of making a different. Once I've done a lot of the same thing, I have to basically recalibrate my brain into what I'm doing. Try and think of what I'm going to do next. Good those ones. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. I have a new follower. That's what that noise was. Thank you very much. I just had someone inquiring about this pen that I've made. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just quickly replying to them. Seven. Not turning off anything yet? There we go. Yes. $6.50. 28 plus 4. Right, so that's going to be 5. Five plus 5, 6. 49. Nine. 52.5. I'll still mess that one up. Nice. The old-fashioned way by eye. Bear with me. Sorry about that. I have to reply to these messages straight away, otherwise I'll forget. Because, let's face it, I can be a bit of an idiot sometimes. Right, so similar thing, just filing off these marks. So this one's going to have a curve then. Right, so that's the Aphrodite. So like I said, it's got the curved end rather than going to the point. So you can see the difference between the two. This one's not got such an extreme taper towards the end and has a more gentle curve, whereas this one sort of is more pointed, well, wedge-like and pointed. Right. So a lot of pen makers will tend to do very similar basic models, if you like. So everyone will do one that's shaped like that. Everyone will do one that's shaped like that. Everyone will do one that's a cylinder. Everyone will do a more cigar-shaped pen. Yeah, so they're your basic models, and then people expand on their repertoire from that. Right, brain engage, please. What am I doing? Right, so this one. Which end do we want to keep? Do we want to keep that end as being the... Yeah. Right, so... So we can get rid of quite a lot of that. So if we go down to about there, that gives us enough to curve that off. To be honest, most pen makers will offer something a bit different. They'll have their own influences and their own sort of style. And there are some that basically just make the single pen model, but what they do is they sort of excel at making that particular pen model. Whereas I am way too flippant for that. I get bored doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I tend to make crazy ones like the one that I showed you earlier and the one with the cat ears. I have actually got a prototype one just down here, which is a pretty simple design, but it's more about the size. There's that one, which is the smallest pen that I've ever made. So it uses a size 5 nib rather than the size 6, which are all these ones. Oh, okay, so it's the first time I've dropped something for this session. It's a tiny bit of a drinking game, or what I like to call a drinking game, where if I drop something on stream, you take a sip, if I drop something and then swear, you finish your drink. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through these and mark them out, cut them to size, ready to be turned into caps. Green pen. A simple explanation to my markings there. You probably saw me do a little V. So that just denotes that I want to be cutting towards that edge of the line rather than that edge. Thank you for watching. Have a good afternoon. Take care. And thank you for chatting as well. It gets quite lonely doing this and no one's chatting. Nearly dropped it. Right, because these are all the same size, I won't have to take, I can just measure up all the caps from the 1 pen. Right. Right, so on this one, I've got a green marking where that goes in. So if I put the nib in there, so I'm going to cut off a sliver. So I want this end to be the end of the cap. So that's going to go into about there. Yeah, about there. So what we'll do is we'll just cut that end off. Oh. So this one, we want the yellow to be joining with the yellow, or the orange even. So we want to cut off about there. Nothing in the end. we're going to do with this one. What's that like? That's more interesting. Put that there. Oh. And the last one, so we've got a bit of a, now this one doesn't really matter, so we can just go straight in from this end. It's fine, we can just cut the top off. So we cut it off about there. So I always try and match the patterns from the cap to the body of the pen. Right, so we're not going to be using that anymore. We can take that off. Flip that round. We can drill that out. So whack that there. Leave those for a little while. A little bit of a sort out. So we got the two drill bits. So these are marked for the end of the section and marked for the end of the nib. So the white mark on that one and the orange mark on that one. And I shall remark this one because that's what we'll be going to about. There to give you about a mil, 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters clearance. This is where I find out that I've cut these all too short. And it should be fine. So these are all going to be triple start threads. What that means is basically the threading here will have three areas that it starts at. So say for example there, and there. So as you turn the nib, as you turn the cap, it will catch in one of three places and it will just screw on. What that does is it makes this so that you don't have to have a massive tenon to make it secure, and there's fewer turns on the cap going on. So instead of having 1, 2, 3, it will just have the one just go and it will just screw on really easily. In fact, when I do one, I shall grab the other pen from the drawer and just show you the difference between the single start and the triple start. I'm going to do a drawing bar as well. Right, so that's that one drilled out. Can you see? So that's how thin the material is. So you can see that it's quite thin on that bit, then it gets darker, and then this bit at the end is where is the material that I've got left to shape the cap with. Again, this one is the one that changes colour, so you should definitely see the change in colour on the purple bit, because this will get hot because there's no lube being used on drilling these bits. So there you go. So this is the bit that we've got left at the end to work with. This is the bit that was drilled through with the smaller drill, and this is the bit with the bigger drill. And you can see that the colour's gone to bright pink on there and yellow on there, rather than purple, which the end is, and orange, which that bit was. So I'll just get these out like this. So on this bit, the drill bits do tend to get a little bit heated, which is why I'm not doing all of the silver drill bit on all of the nibs, on all of the caps, and then doing all of the gold coloured drill bit on all of the caps, because they would just get too hot and it would affect the material. This is the one that we're going to do the end on. Oh, I forgot to mention I do use metal as well. This is a metal turning lathe, so I use copper, brass, and silver nickel, or nickel silver. The teeth weren't done up tight enough. So it started going to powder there, which meant it got a little bit too hot. And this is the thin one. There you go. You can see the pattern a bit better in this material. So again, like we did with the barrel, barrel. I'm just putting a little recess in the end of the cap to help with the threading. It's only a very small sort of 0.5 mil to a millimetre. It'll just help threading it from cap to barrel because there will be a small ridge right in there. So we'll put these up here so we know that we've done them. got to be careful with this one because it's the thin one. Yeah, see, that is too big of a recess, so we'll just go there. I think what we're going to do is just go until these are all sort of shaped, because they won't take very long once they're all threaded, rather than start something new today. We'll leave it there. Having 5 or 6 pens ready for sanding, and we'll have a sanding day tomorrow. Right, so that's all the recesses done. Get that back in. So this will be done by hand, basically because if a material starts to fail, you will hear it before it starts to fail. Now what we'll do, get that in. And a few times, get it out. Come down there. So basically all I'm doing is just making sure those threads are clean, making sure they're good, and then just testing them with a sample pen. Always use plenty of lube with any sort of threading. Doesn't matter what material, whether it be metal, plastic, whatever, basically, just anything. If you're doing any threading at all, no matter the industry, lots of lube. this is the actual cap for this pen. And they're straight. So this is the one where if anything's going to fail, it's going to fail on this one, because this one's slightly thinner than the rest. Be very careful. Just checking to make sure that that swelling that I saw wasn't material and was just a small bead of the lubrication around the collected around the edge, around there. So if we can wipe it off, then it's not a bulge in the material. And the other customer order, again, more careful. With their customer orders, I always take much more care doing this bit than I would for stock pens. I can always remake a stock pen. Customer order ones though, there's normally something a bit unique about them, whether it's the material or what the customers wanted, and they can just be a little bit more of a pain to remake. Right, so let me just wipe all the crud off my hands. So this is a single start thread. So if we go 1, 2, 3, almost 4 turns. This is the same dimension as the ones I've just made. Right, so I put them, if we keep an eye on this mark here, that's 1 and a bit. So that's the advantage of triple start threads. The advantage of single start threads is if you've got a design where you want everything to line up every time, then you just have a single start thread, because it will go on and it will thread in the exact same place each time. Whereas if you've got a triple start thread, this may finish over here, or it may finish over there. Right, so we've got an Aphrodite, which is a curved cap. Get my what word I'm looking for? Tenon. Thingamajig. That'll do. And all we're doing is we're just going to curve that off. Going to get the tool marks off so that it's then ready for sanding. So that's most of them off. So there we've got the section, we've got the barrel, and then we have the cap. And there is one finished pen ready for sanding. So we'll just pop that in there, move that over here. We'll do the other customer order next. So this one is more of a sort of tapered, like the barrel is, where you've got a gradual taper going down. This is very similar. Typical, there is an air bubble right in the end. There is no longer an air bubble right in the end. Right. And number 2, this is a Gaia. That last one was an Aphrodite. Caught it. And then these 4 are Vanagans, which should have a sort of flattish top to them. I'll start off with this one. This is the one where we've got to get rid of about 5 mil of material. So that's the Vanagon. Try and get out of the light. There we go. So all the caps are going to be a little bit different because of the way they're made. But I try and make them as close as I can. Ouch. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Got a big gouge coming out of that from where it slipped. Yeah, I got rid of most of that gouge. Okay, there is Vanagon number 2. So you're getting that texture on the pen again. Mostly gone. Get rid of the rest whilst I'm sanding. Right, so that's the ultra sparkly one. Threads are a bit stiff because they're full of crap, and that is not flush. So when we get a pen that's not flush, what I do is just whack it in the lathe, sandpaper. That's not gripping onto a straight bit of the pen. So I think that's gripping onto the taper, which is why it's wiggling a bit. But we can better. I don't want to grip onto the cap because that strip threads if it catches. So they could catch this before it goes onto the website. Slightly proud. So what I'll do is whack it on there. Just sand that bit more.
Give us greater control over what we're doing.
And rather than guesswork, we can just measure it. It's out enough that you can feel it. That's better. So there's the sparkly one. It just looks black on the camera. Maybe you can see sparkles there. Right, last one. This is the colour change one. So it's returned to the sort of purple and orange. So this end will just go bright pink once I do this. Hoping we don't run into the same problem as we did with the last one on this one. Perfect. So there's that one. Right, so they're all now complete, ready for sanding tomorrow. Probably going to be a bit earlier because I finish work at 12 on a Friday. So yeah, I've put up notifications on Facebook and about what time I'm going to be logging on and doing this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for chatting. If you want notifications of when I'm streaming, just follow the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.